What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stokastic here on the Stokastic YouTube channel. Excited to talk a little DraftKings Reignmakers for the AT&T Byron Nelson going down in Dallas. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Yes, we got one more tournament, then a major championship, but don't write this one off. We do have we have one big gun for sure in play here this week. We'll talk about him and everything that has to do with PGA Tour Reignmakers. There we go. No more of seeing my full face. Let's talk a little bit about what is Reignmakers. If this is your first time checking out this video, well, PGA Tour Reignmakers, combine the two together, we're getting player cards, NFTs. They are of individual players. We can trade them in. We can buy them in the marketplace. We can get them at auction. So many opportunities. And hey, if you want to start your collection right now, what a great opportunity to get Scottie Scheffler on the cheap. Yes, if you sign up in the video description box below and get that free pack, 8 golfers. I can count. That's good. 8 golfers that you're going to get in that starter pack. You can guarantee yourself a share of Scottie Scheffler when you pick him as the guy you want to start your pack off with. And if you're playing this weekend, I see no reason that you wouldn't want to do it. I would just be forward thinking. Yes, give me the best player in the field on the cheap. And why is that? Well, because he's going to be expensive. We'll talk about him. I'm going to give you 5 players to target at different price points. We're going to build out my single entry lineup like I always do on this video. Really excited about this golf tournament because I do think you can build out some cheap lineups that have an opportunity if, for some reason, some way, Scottie Scheffler doesn't finish in the top 5. Pretty unlikely. We also have free projections going on over at Stokastic here. Well, free when you have the Stokastic. You know what I mean. You simply go to the PGA tab, go to DraftKings Reignmakers PGA Tour projections, and here you go. I'll give you a little sneak peek. We also have them for UFC, which is fantastic stuff. This is going to be useful. I am going to be firing on that. By the way, your boy, let's go. Let's go. Got tickets to UFC 290 in the process. Third, it was nice. Some cash, some tickets, free Vegas trip. Love DraftKings Reignmakers. This is good stuff. Wanted to show off for the UFC folk. For the UFC stuff. Don't forget to check that out as well. I think you can get a free Fight Night pack when you sign up in the video description box below too and jump in the waters there for the first time. Amazing card for the UFC. Greg Ehrenberg, my buddy, G. Ehrenberg DFS over on Twitter. He will have an opportunity. He will give you a breakdown on Friday of everything you need to know for that UFC card when it comes to Reignmakers. I know we've both really enjoyed our times in those streets, but I've also enjoyed my time over here talking a little golfy golf. All right. So I'm in a little bit of a conundrum here this week because I was not forward thinking enough into this week. And there's no Jordan Spieth, who doesn't have a card available in the PGA Tour streets here for Reignmakers. So he hurt his wrist and now he's off the board, but it does elevate everybody up a peg. Just having one less good player in the field. Obviously, he doesn't matter for our scoring and counting purposes, but placement points, if Jordan Spieth wins the event, then you're looking at a lower floor for certain guys. Scottie Scheffler is just a massive piece this week. Most expensive golfer across the entire board. It's him and Rahm that are the 2 most expensive. They should be the 2 most expensive for PGA Tour Reignmakers, but he's had good course history. He is from the outside of Dallas. He loves playing golf here, and he has a major championship next week he's tuning up for. I see no reason that you wouldn't be firing it up. So TPC Craig Ranch, for those who don't know, pretty interesting little golf course, par 71 now this season. It was par 72 in previous seasons, but I am pretty positive he finished 15th last season. There you go. One time playing this event, he lost 1.6 strokes gained putting. Guess what? He's the best player in the world right now, along with Jon Rahm, 1A, 1B, if you will, coming off of an 11th at the RBC, 10th at the Masters, 1st at the Players, 4th at the Arnold Palmer, won the Waste Management Phoenix Open again. I don't see any reason that if you have Scottie Scheffler that you're not playing him everywhere, in every single lineup, in the captain spot, more than likely. You can get different elsewhere. I think you just put him in. Now, if you're like me, and you don't have Scottie Scheffler, life gets more difficult. And I sold a bunch of my Tyrrell Hattons, which kind of sucks. I shouldn't have done that. I'm kind of mad about it. I had that number 57. It's no longer go. Where'd you go? I miss you so. It's gone and never coming back to me. So I have a couple of decisions to make here this week because I love Hatton and I love Adam Scott. And we know that they're both going to be playing next week at the PGA, and they have longevity because, well, they're going to be playing all the big events as we come down to the wire. I wanted fire, but I walked through the fire. That was John Mayer. But either way, Tom Kim is by default the guy that I'm going to be starting with for this video and for these purposes. But I'm going to be playing him over here. I know it's best available here in the utility spot because my captain is somebody that I'm actually shorting in DFS this week. And I think having Reignmakers and having access to a card, well, it gives me some utility here. Jason Day is going to be somebody that I'm going to be starting my single entry. Yes, the core classic single entry build that I have all the time here. I think his price point's not too shabby too at $11.68. He's $52, 286.69 in the elite contest as you work down the board. But going back over to our projections, it's Tom Kim and Jason Day, 1-2. Top 5 player probabilities, though, flip-flop the two. And I think Jason Day, I will take the floor of that over that of Tom Kim. I think they're both in good spots. We should definitely have interest in both of them. Again, what did I do with this Tyrrell Hatton thing? It's insane. But Tyrrell Hatton actually shorter sportsbook odds to win. Jason Day, better top 5 probability. And if you give me the top 5 players and I all splash them into one lineup, and I get the top 5 there, it's okay if the captain ends up finishing 5th. I know our guy, Jason Roslin, one of my buddies in the PGA Tour Reignmaker streets, he's been doing an awesome job of building out portfolios with the 2 studs and then playing like a Wyndham Clark up top. Or when he won the Mexico Open Elite contest, he had John Rahm and Tony Finau rares combined with 3 elites that were a little bit cheaper. These are the kind of strategies you want to be thinking of. And I think our tool right here, the PGA Tour Reignmaker projections, just helps you see who you should be playing because it's the best available. There is no salary cap as we are playing these contests. So as we get back to it here, my friends, I can X out of this tab now. I don't need that. That was just for show off purposes. But Jason Day, I think just because he's second, if I am playing a lineup, and this one is not going to have Scotty Scheffler, which sucks because I repeat, you will never see a bigger favorite in your life than this at a golf tournament. I say this knowing full well that John Rahm was there the other week. Hey, said play him in Reignmakers, and Tony Finau. I captained him. He won the golf tournament. I almost won the single entry. That would have made for good storytelling on this program. But some of the best availables here. So these are 2 players that I like on the expensive end. I'm also going to probably have Hideki in the single entry, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to give you 2 different players at different price points that aren't Scotty Scheffler. These are my 2 expensive guys. My 2 mid-range guys that I really think you want to be targeting. Steven Jaeger is kind of the first guy right off the bat. He's not somebody that I'm all that fond of when it comes to his profile. I played a ton of him in DFS about a year ago when he had first gotten on tour. Thought it was a phenomenal spot to be investing and get to the party early on a player that I thought was solid. And then, of course, now in Reignmakers, he starts turning it on. He's been playing some really, really solid golf here. I think it'll be popular in DFS purposes, but I repeat, when you combine DFS and NFTs like this, you still need the card to be able to play them. And certainly, Scotty Scheffler, he's going to be one of the most popular cards this week because if you have him, you're automatically putting him in every single lineup. There's no way he's going to be on a bench. And also, every single person wants to have those cards. And so they're all in circulation and going to be utilized this week, or they would have gotten sold. But Steven Jaeger, the guy's kind of turned on the ball striking, which is a little bit strange. He's been horrible in the putting department, but I'm playing a lot of horrible putters is starting to be what I'm realizing about this week. I'm also going to play some good putters with Taylor Montgomery. Tom Kim can turn it on from time to time. I'm going to have some exposure to those lovely human beings. But as we look in the Reignmaker streak, Steven Jaeger, this is really kind of a price point thing for me as well. With the ball striking numbers starting to trend up, I think he just makes sense at just $4.23. Want to be firing him up. Bez, that's a good putter. I'm probably going to have some shares of him. I'm obviously going to play his card. But I stockpiled some Siwoo Kim. I just want you to be able to see this because this is going to be somebody that I have in all of my lineups as well. Routinely undervalued by the marketplace, I think. And now he's more valued by the marketplace at 680 because amongst this field, he is kind of the class of it, along with Hideki, along with Tom Kim, but half the price here of Hideki across the board. All right, smash that like button here. So, talked about it. Steven Yeager, definitely going to be a piece that I want to get to. Eric, who else in the mid range here? Well, I love my guy Brandon Wu. Talk about him just about every single week. He finished third, I believe it was, in Mexico. And check this out. Cool thing now. You can get the game log this direction. Yeah, there you go. Third at the Mexico Open. Doesn't say what tournament it is, but I know it because I'm a mind reader. 25 birdies, just went completely nuts. This is going to be another birdie fest for the most part, as long as the wind cooperates all 4 days. You're going to see 21, 22, 23 under, something in that ballpark, more than likely being the number you want to get to. And it's another weak field. Well, Brandon Wu just played that weak field and lost to just the 2 stud players. I could see that being something that happens again here, but he's not going to be my recommended piece because there's somebody cheaper that I'm in love with getting to this week. And I'm going to add a couple of shares of him as we go along. Scott Stallings has played this golf tournament twice. Now, let's go over a couple of numbers from his season so far, just that you can get an idea of where I'm coming from here. I talked about him in the DFS show, so if you guys want to, well, don't skip ahead. You guys love me. You want to listen to the things I say sometimes. I don't want to listen to myself sometimes either. Neither does my dog. But I'm looking at Scott Stallings this season. He has now lost strokes gained putting in 6 of his last 7 events with the Statcast data. I keep wanting to say baseball's now in my head here. Statcast data. It's fantastic. When we're looking at strokes gained data, there we go, from the PGA Tour. That's what I was going for. Scott Stallings lost 6 of 7 with the putter. Pretty prominent problem that he's got going here, because off the tee, pretty solid. The approach, the irons have been squeamish too, but he does have a 23rd at the waste management where he turned it on there with the irons, lost with the driver, which isn't like him, and 15th at the AT&T Pebble Beach, which is more of like what we're looking at here for this lovely little event. So there's that. I'm just telling you right now, look at his course history over the course of the last 2 years here. He has a 3rd and a 25th at the AT&T Byron Nelson. He has gained strokes 2.5 and 8.1. We're talking about his putting is drastically better on these surfaces than what it's been at other golf courses at other times. So therefore, well, it doesn't mean that it's automatic. It's an 8-round sample size, but still, I feel like $2.33 for somebody who, I mean, I look at the rest of the range. I'm not all that enthused about getting to tons of Hadwin. You know, as we just look at best available here, as we go through some of my cards compared to cards that are available, Joseph Bramlett is more expensive. Maverick McNeely is understandably more expensive. Si Young Kim, yeah, more expensive. You got, no, Defoe isn't going to be more. What are you talking about, Defoe? That was a Beauty and the Beast joke. But either way, I feel pretty confident that Scott Stallings is going to play well this week. And it's going to be my demise. He's going to be in my single entry team. Godspeed to me. Now, having Scheffler, having Haddon, I'm probably going to buy one of them and throw them in here. I'm not going to tell you which, but I got to give you a cheapie to round out your lineups here this week. And who is somebody that I am looking at? Oh, I'm always looking at Higo. He's kind of a mainstay of this segment, where I expect him to eventually beat up on a weak field. Problem is, you still have a couple of elite players there, and apparently he just doesn't want to show and prove that I'm right. But I've got a couple of deep flyers, specifically Aaron Rai. $2.40 on the cheap here. Actually, Scott Stallings has a lower floor than Aaron Rai. That was not the case when I was prepping for this video, just throwing it out there. But Aaron Rai, the Englishman, we've now seen him start to put together the game that I expected on the PGA Tour from the get-go. He's more iron heavy than just about anybody, ball striking wise, solid numbers everywhere. The short game, the putting, is really bad. But again, I repeat, I'm going to play a lot of bad putters in this ball striking fest, putting fest, whatever. Plus, the greens aren't that difficult. I mean, Scott Stallings gained tons of strokes. Apparently, Scotty Scheffler's losing strokes on the greens, so what do I know? But his off the tee numbers this season have been ridiculous. Since the Genesis, positive in every single golf tournament that he's played. He's coming off of back-to-back missed cuts, but he's still gained 1 and 1.5 strokes gained tee to green. He's got to avoid big numbers. He's got to not lose 4.6 like he did at the Mexico Open with the putter. But if he does, Aaron Rai is going to be somebody you want to have in your Reignmakers lineups as a deep, deep flyer, somebody that you could probably add into the fray. for sure. But one thing I want to throw in here before we get ourselves on out of here, don't forget to check. Just like in the UFC, they constantly have these gated contests. So jump into the 8. If you have 8+ teak down cards, awesome stuff. I'm going to be playing in that one here. Going to be fun. Hopefully get myself another experience. I guess probably can't take 2 weeks off from the dog. We'll see. Probably not. But the PGA Tour, they have a cool one going here this week. Top 5 from the 2022 AT&T Byron Nelson gated contest. So all you have to do is you have to go to the Google machine. You have to type in 2022 AT&T Byron Nelson leaderboard. Look at this. Problem solving. KH Lee going for back-to-back AAU national championships. That's a Tom Amansky joke. But KH Lee legitimately shot 9 under and shot 26 under. Because they changed a par 5 to a par 4, it's going to play a little bit more difficult in terms of just relation to par. No Jordan Spieth, though, but if you have the card, that opens up the contest for you. Sebastian Munoz, Hideki Matsuyama, and Scotty Scheffler. Oh, yeah. If you have any of those beautiful cards, anybody from that top 5, you can jump into that gated contest. And what do you win? Well, this pretty awesome prize. Charles Schwab's coming up here in 2 weeks. You get a VIP, first and second place, get a VIP experience for 2. Retail value of $3,800. So even if you have some throwaway cards in the mix of having some of those amazing plays. So again, you got to have 1 rare plus. So they've got to be rares or better of that. And this one has to be elite or better. Yes, correct. There we go. I can read. That's awesome. But the Byron Nelson, if you have one of those guys who finished in the top 5, any one of these 5, there you go. I'm producing better. I'm getting the hang of this thing. We have an opportunity to get you that experience. It's so cool. I mean, to be able to go to a PGA Tour tournament in style, go kick it, do a little shoulder rubbing with the cool peoples there in the PGA Tour VIP experience at the Charles Schwab Challenge. You'll want to get yourself an opportunity to get into that. That's in 2 weeks. So jump into that if you have one of those cards. Plus, there's not going to be that many entrants. Only 217 so far, 77 in the elite contest. Something you might want to consider for your PGA Tour experience this weekend. Cool. Guys, this was a lot of fun. I always love going through it. Pretty simple one. Next week, we're going to be going hard and fast. I'll have a much longer video, I'm sure, breaking down everything just because it's a major and I get giddy for that kind of stuff. So hit that like button, subscribe button. Don't forget to get that free 8-card pack below and use Scotty Scheffler as your build. I have John Rahm already because I did that at the beginning of the year and he won me everything, which is cool. But now I can't play him until next week and it's sad. So use Scotty Scheffler, have access to him for 2 weeks. That's better than 1 week. Plus, we have these great projections for you over here at Stokastic, and he is popping. Top 5 probability, 36.7%. Something tells me that he could finish 6th, and you'd probably still need him. Just throwing it out there. So, all right, y'all. I'll be back here next week for that major. Oak Hill coming down the pipeline. Very excited. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the PGA Tour, the Reignmaker PGA Tour streets this weekend.